Eek. Welcome back to the Boy Time channel. Today, Helplessness Blues, Fleet Foxes, No Wheel. We have put our differences aside finally, once and for all, and we've combined forces to pick this album
Yes.
because we need one more before our retrospective, and we didn't want to spin a wheel again because there was a weird wheel situation where I picked something and then we didn't do it because we did Mitski, and now we're kind of in limbo.
No, we
So we're
did
just gonna do
Sufjan.
this, and then we're doing retrospective, and then we'll reset it.
Yes.
So
It's either going to be The Cure or something else. I,
something
I
else,
don't know what we're going to decide.
we'll figure it out.
And frankly, I am indifferent. So put in
Yeah,
the comment what you want us to do next.
but I feel like this is a natural leap from Sufjan. So I think
Yes.
this will be good. I've been meaning to listen to this album for like years at this point. So
Well, we're just kind of keeping it in the indie sphere because
yeah,
Mitski and Sufjan
that's
and
true. That's
and
true.
this. So it's a nice little three run.
Hmm.
Even though I've known nothing about Fleet Foxes. I've heard the one winter hymnal song, and they were on that Post Malone record, and that's all I know about
But yeah,
Fleet
they were on that
Foxes.
album.
That's all
That's
I know.
weird,
Yeah,
man. I don't know. I don't think that Post Malone song was like a good uh, gauge of how much you'd like Fleet Foxes. It wasn't a bad feature, but it was weird.
and I think it was just like the lead
It
singer
was
was
like,
doing background vocals or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah. But I've listened to Shore, which is their most recent one. That one was pretty good. Apparently, that's like their lowest rated one. So if that's their lowest rated one, we're in for a good old treat.
All right.
I think this is considered one of the best of last decade. So yeah,
All right.
very
Well, I'm
excited. I
here.
got the Boney Bear sweater. We just did Sufjan. I'm like playing into this right now. Yo,
Dog on a washing machine.
dog, dog on the washing machine for today.
Yeah, well, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess without further ado, we'll get started with track one, Montezuma.
So now I am older than my mother and father when they had their daughter. Now what does that say about me? Oh, how could I dream of such a selfless and true love? Could I wash my hands of just looking out for me? Oh man, what I used to be. Oh man, oh my, oh me. Unless I have someday ran my wandering mind away. Oh man, what I used to be. Montezuma to Tripoli. Oh man, oh my, oh me.
All right, that was Montezuma.
Very good. Honestly, that just sounded really pretty. I'm trying to make sense of the lyrics, but I couldn't. I was just having a good time with
Yeah,
it.
you know,
Uh, yeah, new artist is going to take me a minute to get used to the writing style, but lots of good words. I will say that. I don't know. It just sounded great. The chorus was great. I love the build on the song. Um, I feel like it's still kind of folky. I love the guitar. They bring in it's almost Father John Misty esque when it like has a little bit more of a grand folk kind of sound. Um,
sure.
but man, it just creates a really nice atmosphere. Um, yeah, I don't know if I have much to say right now because I mean, as an opener, it's great, but like, it's gonna take a bit for me to adjust.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Father John Misty because Father John Misty was in Fleet Foxes.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
I don't know if he was in it at this point. I think he was in it like early, and he was just the drummer. But yeah, you know me, I like my like acapella type stuff, uh, and like probably half of this song is that. I mean, I really liked. I do like the. I think it's called "Warm Winter Hymnal." I don't even remember what it's called,
I think so.
and it's just. I think it's just like a folk song, and I mean that in like the traditional folk way, not in like the indie folk way. So yeah, I mean this kind of is like that, but honestly, like I wasn't like super crazy about it, but it sounds good. It's
Mhm.
just like okay, we're. I think I'm got kind of readjust a little bit. Um, I'm sure I'll like this song a whole lot more when I listen to it a lot. But like, oh, okay, it's a good intro, but I'm not super crazy about it. To me, track two, I think it's pronounced Bedouin Dress.
If to borrow is to take and not return, I have borrowed all my lonesome life, and I can't, no, I can't get through. The borrower's debt is the only regret of my youth. In the street one day I saw you among the crowd, in a geometric pattern dress. One day at Innisfree, one day that's mine.
All right, Bedouin Dress.
Very good. I feel like sometimes it's good that I don't have a lot to say about an intro because it's doing the purpose of an intro and getting us familiar with what we're gonna get into, and then
Yes.
this one it's like boom, here we are. I'm adjusted. We're good. Uh, I mean, instrumental is just gorgeous. I love it. The use of the violin, crazy. You got a violin. You got this big old bass drum going. Just the sounding like it fills out the whole mix so nice. It's just like really, really, really pretty to listen to. But lyric wise as well, really nice. I can see that he has definitely more of a not poetic. It's kind of poetic. It's like a cross between Father John Misty and like a more out there, kind of not psychedelic, but it's kind of old school, but at the same time, it's like a lot of metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of poems being referenced here, and I know zero things about poetry, so I feel like I'm missing a lot. Um,
Yes.
but just the kind of yearning for a simple life and like this person he saw in a dress like kind of brought him back to like what he wants and the most simple form of life, and the rest of the song kind of being him like going over societal debts and like this feeling that he has where he always has to like give something, and not be able to return it. So really, really, really great. I just love the sound of it. I feel like it's hard to talk about the lyrics because I'm just so overwhelmed by the instrumentals so far. So, but very good.
Yes. I thought that this one, yeah, I liked it a whole lot more than the first track. I thought it was very interesting. Like when it first started off, it sounded almost like a Motown song or something.
Mhm.
With like it felt like it was like a snap and then that big bass drum. I'm like, okay, this is not at all what I
Yeah.
expected. But then as it went on, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. we're getting a little more indie folky, which is definitely more my scene. And yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that the like first line is fantastic. Well, like if to borrow is to take and not return, I have borrowed all my lonesome life. I'm like that. That's
Bars.
good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like how I've been trying to phrase it. It's like these words sound really good in the sequence he's doing them in. That's my commentary for
that's the
today.
commentary for lyrics. Well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard. Like as you
Mhm.
were saying, like there's so much here. It's kind of like that Neutral Milk Hotel thing where it's like I understand that there's a lot going on here and like there's it's going to take some time and I appreciate that, but right now I have no idea what's going
Mhm.
on. But I like how it sounds. So that's a plus.
Just how it should be.
How it should be, of course. So, yeah, move on it to track 3 is Simsalabim.
He was so kind, such a gentleman, tied to the ocean side. Lighting a match on the suitcases, latch in the fading of night. Ruffled the fur of the collie neath the table, ran out the door through the dark, carved out his initials in the bar. Then the earth shook, that was all that it took for the dream to break. All the loose ends would surround me again in the shape of your face. What makes me love you despite the reservations? What do I see in your eyes? Besides my reflection hanging high.
Simsalabim.
That was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Again, the instrumentals are just killer. I love the like acoustic, like really energetic outro, just slamming on that guitar. Man, the textures on this thing are so good. It doesn't feel cluttered at all. There's a lot happening in these instrumentals, but everything has its place and it's like perfectly where it needs to be. Man, I did not expect the writing style to be like this poetic, old story kind of focused. It's very uh, out of my league at the current moment, but it's so good. Just the song going through like someone in a relationship just like leaving like out of nowhere during the night, and then just kind of like you get the opposite perspective of that in the second verse when the band comes in. Just really great. Yeah, it just sounds so good.
It does. Yeah, I was waiting for the banjo. I'm like, I feel like
Hmm.
it has to happen.
We've
This
had a violin. We gotta have the banjo.
You gotta have the banjo. It's an indie folk band from Seattle. You know, it's like there's two
Yeah.
regions that that are known for the banjo. It's the southeast and the northwest. You know. So I'm like, it's gotta happen. Especially, I don't know how big this band is. I always imagine that it's like a 12-piece
I
band or
think it's a
something.
6-piece band.
Okay, well, I figured it wasn't that big, but um, yeah, I just picture like a King Gizzard thing where it's just
Hmm.
everybody's playing all sorts of instruments, and that one was great. I loved the instrumentation on that one. I was like so happy when like halfway through the song I had the lyrics pulled up. I'm like, oh, we're almost out of lyrics. That means, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. So that was a very pleasant surprise. It's like it's the same feeling when there's a Sufjan song. It's like, oh, there's no lyrics. That means we're getting a
Yeah,
synth
exactly.
outro. Like, oh, we got some good stuff. So yeah, I'm in now. This is fantastic. Track 4, Battery Kinsey. That was Battery Kinsey.
Pretty good. I don't know if I like that one as much as the last two, but
Yeah.
still pretty good. Uh, I love his enunciation and just the way he delivers lines. I think that's like my biggest thing that I'm loving about the lyric side of this thing is like he's kind of got like what you to describe in hip hop as like in the pocket or just like the flow of it is just really great. Um, I think that's something that kind of sets them apart in this indie folk area because there's like so much energy and bounciness and playfulness with the way he's delivering these lines. Um, and then just the word choice again is great. Like planted a seed in sand and drowned in rain. Like just stuff like that. That kind of imagery is just fantastic. Yeah, I feel like the choruses on this record haven't been blowing me away, but at the same time, the whole song just sound like very complete at the same time. I don't know. It's like a more traditional folk way, I think, where
Yeah.
it's like the chorus. It's not like a standard verse chorus. It's like everything kind of blends together, but it just works. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
Yeah. No, I think I would agree with you. I think I could have done with this song actually being a little longer because it feels like it's just, oh, and then it's over.
Mhm.
But I did like it. I don't think I've complained about how the song sounded. Like that's definitely been the best part so far, I think. Just everything sounds beautiful. We're kind of running into the same problem that we did when we reviewed Javelin, or not reviewed, but reacted to Javelin, where it's just like, how many times can we say it sounds good,
Yeah.
and how many different ways can we say that? Um, but yeah, I think I would agree with you that this one is probably my least favorite out of this bunch, but it's still really good. Like,
Mhm.
definitely not a skip by any means. So, good stuff. Track 5 no longer has a complicated name, so that is nice, or, complicated in terms of having me pronounce it. Is The Plains slash Bitter Dancer.
Just as the sand made everything round, just as the tar seeps up from the ground, bitter dancer, ever turning, so was the day that you came to town. You took a room and you settled in, washed off the chalk from your weathered skin. Daylight sleeper, bloody reaper, you took a room and you settled in. Arms length, I will hold you there.
All right, that was The Plains Bitter Dancer.
That's probably my favorite one so far.
Me too.
Unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think atmosphere is the biggest thing I look for in music. I want to be like transported somewhere, and that did it perfectly. Like, I love the kind of slow and calculated intro. You have all these like chants and kind of background vocals that just sounded great. It's like eerie but not over the top. Um, just kind of like this wall of sound that's kind of rotating was just really, really, really cool. And then it settles back down. The push and pull of the song is just fantastic. And I mean, even lyric wise, it's like the song kind of talking about like this personification of death or like a grim reaper, but not in a way that's like overly sad or eerie or anything. It was just like it's kind of a more just a statement on it. But I kind of like it because it's like beautiful, but it's eerie and I don't know, it has like a solemn nature, but it's also fun at the end. Like it's more celebratory towards the end still. So I don't know. That one was just really, really, really good. I feel like I understand everything about that track, and I wasn't like trying to catch up lyric wise. So I felt like I was fully in it the whole time. So fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't want to say historically, but at least in like recent boy time era, I would say that longer songs tend to dominate like our favorite songs collectively on records.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh boy, a 6 minute track, which is so weird because when we started this channel, I was the
Oh, you
exact
hated
opposite.
anything over 4 minutes long.
Yeah, but now it's just like, man, that was fantastic. Yeah, no, I loved everything about it. I might go as far as to say that that is a perfect song to me. The way that it builds and maintained that atmosphere, it was just fantastic. Great stuff. I'm excited because we got a 5 minute song right here.
Title track even.
Yeah, the title track, "Helplessness Blues," track 6.
And now, after some thinking, I'd say I'd rather be a functioning cog in some great machinery, serving something beyond me. But I don't know what that will be. I'll get back to you someday soon. You will see. What's my name? What's my station? Oh, just tell me what I should do. I don't need to be kind to the armies of night that would do such injustice to you. Or bow down and be grateful and say, sure, take all that you see. To the men who move only in dimly lit halls and determine my future for me. Gold hair in the sunlight, my light in the dawn. If I had an orchard, I'd work till I'm sore. If I had an orchard, I'd work till I'm sore. Someday I'll be like the man on the screen.
All right, "Helplessness Blues." Yep.
It's the piece. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man. Um. I always like. I'm always like. Do I give masterpieces to the popular song? Sometimes I do. I feel like sometimes they deserve it. This one definitely deserves it. There's a lot in this song. First off, beautiful. I love the instrumental. I love the way that it turned bluesy with the electric guitar coming in at the end. That was so good.
Yes.
Yeah, the song being like him kind of growing up and realizing like, all right, um, uniqueness and hyper individualism is not really giving me anything because I don't have anything concrete to work for. Uh, so many of us work in like useless, like jobs that don't do anything good or anything of any value to the individual. And he talks about an orchard at the end where he can literally bear the fruits of his labor
Yeah.
and find a fulfilling thing. But it's like there's no upward mobility. He starts kind of buying into these like, you know, advertisements and things where it's like you see these successful, happy people and you try to work towards that, but you're not really working towards anything. So he's kind of having this crisis as the song goes on. And he's like, what do I really believe in? Why do I keep going? All of this. It's just so much wrapped into a song, and it's something that everybody can like deeply relate to, no matter who you
Mm-hmm.
are. And it's just beautifully put, like lyrically and just instrumentally. Like the whole thing is just wrapped up perfectly. So fantastic.
Yes, yeah, that is. Yeah, I mean, I do often like kind of fall victim to like, oh, my favorite songs are the ones that are the most popular, but I feel justified in this one
This
because
one for sure, yeah.
holy moly, that is
Hmm.
that is just a fantastic song. I like loved it, and then at the end I was like, whoa, like that is
Hmm.
something special. I'll have to go back when I'm editing this just to watch my facial what I'm doing because I'm sure I'm making all sorts of enthusiastic facial expressions. But yeah, that was beautiful. I loved it, and I loved that little. It's not so much like a chant, but it's kind of the outro. That if I had a orchard, an orchard, I'd work till I'm sore, just over and over again. It's like, oh man, that would be the life, you
Hmm.
know. So yeah, yeah, very understandable. It's a very universal song, which is why I guess it is the most popular. Because I think everybody, for the most part, works at a job that they get no fulfillment out of, and they just do it because they need cash, so that they can, you know,
You want to improve society somewhat, yet you participate in it. I
it's a
feel
good.
like that was the main like contradiction of that song, and he was just like losing his mind,
Yeah,
as everybody does.
it's understandable
I
for
feel like
sure.
that song was what I wanted. What I want to get out of Father John Misty is that song, but it's not what I get out of him from what I've heard.
Well, you've heard
I've
maybe
heard,
his worst,
yeah.
and you've heard his love record,
Hmm.
which, you know, pure comedy is on my list. And the next time I get a good, we're probably going to do it because I have been listening to pure comedy all the time. It finally clicked for me. This is very off topic, but it finally clicked for me, and now it's just like, ooh, now I just listen to it all the time. At first, I listened to it and I was too intimidated and I was too sad. But now it's just like, nah, I just listen to it probably probably close to every day. So
Yeah, we'll
we'll
do it soon.
we'll get to it. It's a flawed masterpiece in my opinion, but what masterpiece isn't?
Exactly. That song was flawless.
Well, yes, yes, that is true. That is true. But we'll see how they follow that up with a quick little 2-minute number called the Cascades.
Last of Us 2.
It does sound like it. Don't know if we're gonna have a whole lot to say about that one, but that is the Cascades.
That was so good. I love that.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, man, ending on the dissonant key didn't complete the chord. That was so cool. I love when I love when songs like that end like that.
Yeah.
It's just like hangs there. Yeah, sounds like a straight off the Last of Us soundtrack, which is a compliment because that's like one of my favorite soundtracks ever.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. I love. There's a lot of emotion in this still. It's not just like an interlude just to have a fun instrumental interlude. I feel like that really is a song that I will go back to a lot. So
Yes.
that's always the highest praise you can give an instrumental.
I don't know if I'm gonna say it's as good as Horn. I was going back and forth throughout that
Nothing beats
entire.
Horn.
Nothing beats Horn. That is what we have come to realize every time. I'm like, oh, there's an instrumental interlude. Is it gonna be as good as Horn? No. Nothing can be as good as Horn, and it's hard to articulate why I love Horn so much when it's four chords and I think 14 notes total.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about that song, and Nick Drake's performance of it. But that was just gorgeous. It's a nice little. I think it's a good button after the Plains Bitter Dancer and Helplessness Blues. These two kind of giant songs with two like very distinct kind of arcs over both of them. For it's just like okay, it's a little bit of a
Get back on track.
decompress.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfectly like timed in like the pacing of the record.
I feel like
So
records need a moment where it's like, all right, you just got blown away by this song, so let me give you a couple minutes.
yes, and also have just like some gorgeous arrangements going on, and also like ups and downs. Like it's not just like 2 minutes of solid like
Right.
a wall of sound. There's dynamics. It's all going. It's like wow, like they're just they really didn't have to go that hard for a 2 minute musical interlude, but they did. So it's probably my second favorite musical interlude or interlude, I should say. But this is just I just need to plug Horn whenever I can, just
We
because
do it often. I feel like we're just Horn stands.
we're Horn stands, which sounds bad in any
It
other
does sound bad. But
any
it's
other
part of the
context.
Boy-Time lore at this point.
Yes. If for some reason you're a big Fleet Foxes fan and you have not listened to Pink Moon by
What are you
Nick
doing?
Drake, I feel like maybe you're the wrong kind of hipster.
Yeah.
So
You got to be a cool hipster.
gotta be a cool hipster. If you're gonna be a hipster listening to Fleet Foxes, you gotta also respect the classics.
Exactly.
That's what I'll say. All right, now that we went on and on about a 2 minute song, let's listen to track 8, Lorelei.
So, guess I got old. I was like trash on the sidewalk. I guess I knew why. Often it's hard to just sweet talk. I was all news to you then. All news to you
All right, that was Lorelei.
That's my second favorite Lorelei song.
What's the
Cocktail Twins
first
is a
one?
little bit better,
Oh,
but
okay.
no, it was really good. I This song sounds like it's from like the 50s or the 60s a little bit. It's kind of cool. This kind of waltz thing going. Yeah, it says it has like a resemblance to a Bob Dylan song, which I definitely understand. I feel like the vocal work and everything was kind of similar, and I really liked it. Had this
Yeah.
kind of classic old feel. It's weird with this record because like the writing is so good. I'm having like the same reaction I would if like there's a bar in a hip hop song that's really great. I like go, oh, that's a good line. It's
Yeah.
really weird. I don't get that with like singer songwriter and like folk records like that. But man, this record has some great just imagery. Like I love imagery and lyrics. Um, Man, it's just clever though. Like I love the ending of the bridge where he says "chip on the shoulder, the diamond in the teeth." It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really great. I feel like this record started very heady because there was a lot of like poetry and like old literature references, and now I'm kind of clicking with it a lot more since we've hit like track 5. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that's probably pretty typical for us,
Hmm.
uh, especially when it's a new artist. When
Yeah,
it's someone like Sufjan or Mitski or something, where it's like we've listened to a
we're
lot of their
already
stuff,
tapped in.
we
Hmm.
got it. Um, but this is like kind of out of left field. But I'm loving this. Like I know I was kind of shaky on the first track going in, but like holy moly, I'm loving this record a whole lot more now that we're in it. Um, yeah, no, I would say that this is my favorite Lorelei track. I didn't remember that there was a Cocteau Twins song called
Yeah,
Lorelei. Was it on the
it's
one that's in this
it's on Treasure.
retrospective?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the really crazy one where she's like doing gymnastics with her vocals. It's you'll know exactly what song it is if you hit play on it for like 3 seconds.
Okay, I'm sure I will. I need to listen to
Yeah,
that again before we do our
yeah. And
retrospective.
as soon as I saw Lorelei, the melody she does like popped in my head. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's very memorable.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't think I've listened to the Cocteau Twins one since June 2nd
Mm.
when we recorded that. So sorry, Cocteau Twins stands. But yeah, no, I love that song. Great stuff. Track 9 is Someone You'd Admire.
After all is said and done, I feel the same. All that I hoped would change within me stayed. Like a huddled moonlit exile on the shore. Warm in his hands 1,000 years ago. I walk with others in me, yearning to get out. Claw at my skin and gnash their teeth and shout.
All right. That was Someone You'd Admire.
That was so good.
Yes.
Oh, I love that one. Um, yeah, he said one line, and the only thing I could think of is "Inside you there are two wolves," and then the song got really sad, so I stopped laughing in my head. Um, no, really, really, really great. Again, like, oh, he opens the song with "After all is said and done, I feel the same. All that I hoped would change within me stayed." It's so good, man. And
Yeah.
he just implies that he says stayed the same because he cuts himself off and goes to the next. It's so good. The writing on this record is like way better than I thought it would like be going in. Just because like,
Yeah.
I mean, indie folk records like they have good writing, but it's like this one's so clever. There's so many like little references and just like finesse things that just it just feels so satisfying to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Love the acoustic kind of ballad feel of this one. I like that he strips it back more because, I mean, the record started in like a very, like, man, filling the mixes, there's a lot of variation. But it's always nice when it kind of strips back because those tend to be my favorite usually. When you show
Yeah.
restraint, that's when all that really, really, really good stuff that'll like separate you from all the other indie folk artists comes out. And this one's great. So
Yeah.
that was a 2.5 minute song. That was really short and it was so good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I tend to agree. I think the kind of more stripped back songs tend to be my favorite. Like Two Headed Boy 2 is probably my favorite song on
Mhm.
that Neutral Milk Hotel record. This song is probably up there. I'm not sure where it compares to all of the other ones, but pretty high. I like that one too. Short and sweet. What's not to like? Also, I looked it up, and this is the only album that Father John Misty is on
Oh, really?
of Fleet
Okay.
Foxes. Yes, so he
Well, he's doing a good
joined.
job.
He joined the band for the tour of the first album.
And then was on this
Did
one.
He was on this one and then left before the tour of this album to do his
Interesting.
first Father John Misty album. So
Interesting.
yeah, so I was surprised, but I also thought that they had more records before they're self-titled. So I that just shows that I'm dumb. Uh,
We
so
do no research going into these.
I know absolutely nothing about the band. So I don't know if you're able to hear my clicking. I'm doing research as I am listening to the songs. So sorry about that. But we can move on to the long boy, the resident long boy of this record. It's also a slash title, like the Plains Bitter Dancer. It is The Shrine, an argument.
Time song's got a slash in it, you know it's good.
That's true.
You had to
It's
name
two
it
songs
twice.
in one.
Yeah.
I went down among the dust and pollen to the old stone fountain in the morning after dawn. Underneath were all these pennies fallen from the hands of children. They were there and then were gone. And I wonder what became of them. What became of them? Sunlight over me, no matter what I do. Apples in the summer are cold and sweet. Every day a passing complete. In the morning, waking up to terrible sunlight. All that feels like skin abuse. The sun is half its size. When you talk, you hardly even look in my eyes. In the morning.
That was The Shrine, an argument.
Easy. Has to be. Um, duh. Uh, yeah. If you have a improv, freeform jazz thing at the back of your song, I'm gonna like it. It's just, yeah, that was fantastic. I felt like that was four songs in one and not two.
It did kind of feel like that,
There's a
yeah.
lot going on there. I love the multi-phased kind of parts of it. Man, just the the atmosphere helps this record so much because the lyrics are already so good, but like it just like brings it to another level when you it connects that deeply. because there's so many feelings in the song. You got this grief and this anger and the sadness and the hopelessness, like all in one in different parts of the song. And the lyrics are fantastic. Sunlight over me, no matter what I do. Amazing line. I just love that. I don't know why. And the way he says it was just like a release. It was so good. Um, yeah, I love how it got really somber during this like bridge and outro section. He brings up apples and connects it back to the orchard that we talked about on the title track.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I love the freeform clarinet jazz solo thingy at the end. The song goes through like the many phases of him just kind of like losing it. He's like dealing with a relationship and also dealing with like the helplessness of like what he wants to do with his life. And it's like, what else do you do when you're that hopeless? But like just let out that energy in any way you possibly can. So it just feels very connected to the song, and it feels like it needs to be there to really get the payoff of this kind of, I don't know, the song has like an anxiety and like a this feeling of not knowing what to do, and then just the explosion of that just like did it. Yeah, fantastic, amazing.
Yeah. I don't want to really linger on it. That probably is my least favorite song. Um,
You like
yeah.
long songs, but to a limit.
Well, I don't think it was because it was long. I just like the first 2.5 minutes. I was just like, okay, just kind of feeling the same, and it's not really a vibe that I really like. And then I was not a fan of the freeform jazz clarinet solo in the end.
How dare you?
I know. Well, I'm never really a fan of that.
Oh yeah.
I'll say on this upcoming retrospective that is going to come out next week, there's one song on the losing playlist for all of the albums that we have done, and it
Oh
is
my god.
untitled from Neutral Milk Hotel because I hate that bagpipe thing that's going on. So I am already predisposed to not like it. I tend to like structure and I like beautiful arrangements and instrumentation, especially in indie folk. Like I specifically come to this genre to chill out, and I do not like the confusion and all those feelings that come from the freeform jazz solo. But that's just me.
The
I
difference between you and I.
yeah, that's why.
Sometimes freeform jazz is my relaxation. I'm just different.
Yeah. So I don't want to say that like, that this is objectively true. It's just how I feel. I don't think I was ever insinuating that, but just in case anyone, because I know that this album is very highly regarded, and I don't want to say anything too controversial. Because you know me, I like to say the popular opinions all the time. That's
NPC.
all the people in our comments are just like, man, that Jerry guy always says exactly what I was thinking. He has the best music opinions on the channel. That's what I see all the time in the comments. So I just want to uphold that a little bit. So, but I think we'll just move on. Track 11, Blue Spotted Tail.
Why in the night sky are the lights hung? Why is the earth moving round the sun? Floating in the vacuum with no purpose, not a one. Why in the night sky are the lights hung? Why is life made only for the end? Why do I do all this waiting then? Why this frightened part of me that's fated to pretend? Why is life made only for the end?
Oh. 20 seconds of silence. Okay. I'm gonna cut it off early
Yeah,
just
it's
in
going
case.
somewhere.
That's going
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay, that is Blue Spotted Tail.
Fantastic, amazing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, again, this adds on to my point about the freeform jazz being needed because that to this is just brilliant pacing. I love that kind of freak out and just like overflow of emotions into like this super intimate, quiet, depressing song. But man, like it sounds so good. Um, this is like a classic folk song where it's just very simple. Everybody can get it. It just hits everybody really hard. Um, and it's just great. I mean, it's simple. There's nothing too complicated or technical about the song, but it just hits you really, really, really deeply. Yeah, vocals are fantastic on this. I love how they mixed it that way too. It's the most skeletal of this record,
Yeah.
and I think it does it the best out of all these like more quieter songs. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I thought that was great. I loved that. You know, a very short. Well, not very short, but it felt short. Just four little stanzas and a
mhm.
nice little guitar. Um, so yeah, I don't know. What else do you want from a folk song? It's all I
Nothing.
need. So yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll finish this ish out. Track 12, Grown Ocean.
That dream I'm as old as the mountains, still is starlight reflected in fountains. I'll have so much to tell you about it, baby. In that dream I could hardly contain it. All my life I will wait to attain Don't betray me. I will wake one day. Don't delay me. Wide-eyed lever, always going.
All right. Grown Ocean and the album as a whole.
Really good closer. I like that a
Yes.
lot. Again, just like emotional roller coaster in the last three tracks. Like it's going like severe levels from back and forth. You get the most depressing song, and then you get this one that sounds pretty optimistic. Lyrics wise, I mean, it's not the most optimistic. It's like all him in a dream. Uh, finding someone to exist with, and that's his one thing that he wants, and it's a dream. I think it's a perfect way to kind of kick off this record that's just so about alienation and just trying to find any sort of purpose uh, in the world. Record as a whole is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely worth all the hype. I need to definitely listen to it a lot more because I feel like it clicked with me fully on track five. So I wanted to
Yeah.
see what I'm missing in the first four. Not that they're not good, but like I feel like I didn't fully get everything I wanted out of those. But yeah, the sound is fantastic. I love that it gets loud and grand when it needs to, but I love that they're also not afraid to take some risks, go a little bit more. atmospheric, a little bit more quiet, a little bit more traditional folky.
Mm-hmm.
It's really creative in that way too. So it's not like it's a, oh, this is what every folk record sounds like. This is pretty unique in its field. Um, yeah, really, really, really great. I think Helplessness Blues is the obvious standout, but I think The Shrine is probably my second favorite here. Um, Blue Spotted Tail was really good too. That might be
Mm-hmm.
my third. But yeah, very, very, very good. Yeah, we should probably do some more Fleet Foxes in the future.
Yes, I know. I do have their self-titled on my list, so
Yes.
that will most likely come up probably after Pure Comedy. But this, yeah, man, I like you. I do need to go back to the beginning because I think it probably clicked around the same time for both of us because it was
Mm.
around track 5. And then after that, man, I was just blown away pretty consistently. Although, you know, I didn't care for track 10 too much, but that's okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, as someone who like absolutely loves indie folk, Fleet Foxes was definitely a major blind spot for me. So I do kind of feel good having listened to, by most accounts, their best. And it definitely deserves that title. I mean, I don't know if it's the best of theirs, but it definitely deserves all of the
It's gotten the
acclaim.
most. Yeah, I think this one and their self-titled are kind of even, but they're definitely the top of their discography
Yes,
from what I've seen.
this is just fantastic. I totally get all the Fleet Foxes love now. Um, so, man, yeah, great, great, great stuff. Um, so, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. It's a good record. But we don't have a wheel. Not going to spin anything.
Nope.
Next week is going to be a retrospective. So,
And then we'll spin a wheel.
and then we'll spin a wheel. We'll figure out what we're going to do after that. Uh, but yeah, I think that just about does it for our reaction to the hit album Helplessness Blues by the Fleet Foxes.
I the Fleet Foxes.